Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Akwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And Lord willing, I'll keep this quick. But just wanted to go into this lesson here on an article that I saw on Zero Hedge entitled Just Like Clockwork, the propaganda push for digital ID kicks into gear in the UK. And I think the brother Haran had done something, right? I think I saw a title of one of his videos that was similar to this here. So maybe he might have gone to the same topic, but as the Apostle Paul said, that we all speak the same thing anyway, right? So sounding the alarm on this, I'm gonna skim through it, right, and just hit the key parts of this, because there is a video in here that I do want to play that we can go into. So it says here, after avoiding the issue for years, the legacy media are now trying to manufacture public complacency and consent for the government's digital identity and, by extension, CBDC agenda. So just like I said, jumping through, I sort of gave it a quick read before, and so certain parts that I think are important, I'll sort of highlight those. On July 5th, the day Keir Starmer became UK Prime Minister, we wagered that a Starmer government would intensify the rollout of a digital identity system in the UK. Now, keep in mind that when it comes to like when you think about the MOTB and you think about the actual physical device, the implant, it is only one piece of the puzzle, right? The device itself, like if you look at today, the actual physical device, the implant, is out, right? And it is being used for some like contactless payments and so on and so forth. But it's not on the level of the hour of temptation. Why? Because that system that it's going to be running on, it hasn't been fully implemented throughout the world, right? That gives that high level of importance and quote unquote power to having the actual CHIP. So the real heavy lifting is the push and the implementation of this like digital ID system, this digital currency, right? The CBDC. And at that point, then it's very simple to sort of integrate in there physical devices that will allow you to sort of interact and be a part of this system. One being the implant. Okay, so the sort of like the thing that gives the power to the actual device is the system in which the device runs on. Okay, like having cars without roads. If you have a car without a road, the car is not really gonna do you much good, right? So you need something to move or drive that car on, and that's where this system they're pushing comes into place, because they could, if right, hypothetically, for example's sake, if they started and they said, look, we're going to implement some digital ID system and CBDCs, and for right now it's going to be based on like some app on your phone or something like that, they could still implement the same blockages, right, to say that you can't go here unless you show us your ID, and then you got to pull out your phone and do all this, right? And hypothetically, they could say, well, just like you have Apple Pay today, right? If you don't, we're not dealing with cash anymore, and if you don't have some digital token that you can show us via your phone, right, or something like that, then we can't allow you to make this purchase, right? That's as simple as swapping out a phone for a CHIP. They'll kind of play a similar, if not the same, functionality. The CHIP is just literally a chip with, circuits on it that communicates some information. Well, the phone can do the same thing. So the power is mainly in the system that it runs upon. That's what gives life to that whole. That's what gives them the ability to enforce something like the hour of temptation. Anyway, it says on July 5th, the day, Slack, I think I already read this part. Okay, it says the Starmer government would intensify the push to roll out a digital identity system in the UK, a country that has until now resisted all recent attempts to introduce an identity card system, including most notably by Starmer's backroom consultant and mentor, Tony Blair. Now, what's interesting is, like we always tell you, there is what the world looks like ahead from today, and there is what the world looks like ahead from next week, from next month, from 6 months from now. So, just because you may see a resistance or what looks like, maybe I'll call it a pseudo resistance, what looks like a resistance, your government or your parliament is saying, no, we're not going to implement something like this. We're well aware of it. We're even going to pass laws to make sure it doesn't come into play. Just because you see something like that now doesn't mean that in the future that won't be the case. So when you jump back, like as they're saying here, it seemed as though they wouldn't push for something like this, and yet here we are. Okay, so that's the missing piece, is that things change. And people think that just because somebody says something today, that's what they're always going to say. It's not how it works. All right. So you might have a president or somebody coming into power and they'll say, oh, we're not going to do this. Well, that's what they say today. What do they do 3 months from now? They can literally do a 180. And people always forget about that. So that's why we always trust in prophecy, because, well, in Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, but we know prophecy to be certain. Prophecy won't change from today to tomorrow. So if prophecy says this person is going to do B, it doesn't matter if they're saying A today. At some point, they're going to switch it to B. Anyway, it says, unfortunately, that prediction has proven to be pretty much on the money. Since taking office, the Starmer government has launched the new Office of Digital Identities and Attributes with the task of overseeing the country's digital ID market. As of October 28th, almost 50 organizations with DIATF certified services have been added to the office's register. Now, this, you know, I sort of see something similar like this happening when, the Trump admin comes in on the side of DOGE, right? Or the Department of Government Efficiency or so. I sort of see them overseeing and taking over these kinds of like this region or this sector of things here in America. Pledged to roll out a digital ID for Army veterans. As in the US, the UK government is also looking to launch a digital driving license by next year. Yeah, so because they have that over here. Announced plans to introduce digital ID legislation for age verification purposes, meaning that young people will soon be able to use digital ID wallets on their phones to prove they are over 18 when visiting pubs, restaurants, and shops. Now the propaganda is kicking into gear, with the main selling points, as always, are speed and convenience. Now this is the real video that I really wanted to play. So it says the UK government and the Department of Science, Innovation and Technology have released a video showcasing their digital identification system set to be rolled out next year. Now I don't know when this tweet was, if this tweet was last year or this year, and that means that next year would be either this year. Okay, so it looks like this was last year, December. So that rollout, that next year is going to be 2025, which is this year. In the video, they depict anyone using a physical ID as clumsy and outdated. And that begins that, not begins, but it adds on to that, once again, that narrative and that propaganda. So let's take a look at this. Now, what's interesting is it's a minute and 44 seconds long. What are the chances?
Right, mate?
Right, mate. Can I get a pint of lager, please?
Yeah, of course. Can I just see some ID?
Yeah, no worries.
Let me see. Okay, there's no caption, so.
It's got someone here.
Hi, can I have a pint of Christmas cracker, please?
Certainly.
I know it's a surprise for everyone, but I don't get asked for my ID anymore. But for loads of young people, they get asked all the time when they want to buy a drink. So we're changing the law so that next Christmas, young people will have their ID on their phone, so they won't have all of the hassle of needing to get ID or leaving their ID at home or their paper ID getting lost or damaged. There's already 50 digital apps like this one. But what it means is that bar staff can scan to prove somebody's identity, and it doesn't give away any personal information. So it means that giving your ID is safer than it's ever been before. Changes like these are going to create economic growth for our country, which is key to our plan for change.
Key to our plan for change. Change towards what?
There you are. Great, thanks. You can put it on the tab. So this means by next Christmas, buying a pint will be a little bit easier. Great. Yeah, okay. There you go, mate.
Cheers.
£7.20, please. Random prices. Merry Christmas.
See that? So you can sort of see there what they're doing, right? They're using that you know, propaganda, you know, of having the convenience of, you know, just having your phone. And this is, once again, it's like an undercover step towards, like he said, that change that they want. Because this is like a gateway drug. You taste it, you're like, oh, this is really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is nice, this convenience. They want to get you addicted to that convenience. And then eventually you want more, and they keep upping the dosage until you're sitting there with a C-hip inside of your hand or in your body because of convenience. And as they push it, they make the system require you to be more convenient, or else the system becomes harder and harder for those who are not leveling up with technology. So it becomes more inconvenient for you. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to play this part right here. I'm not going to go through the full article, but I'll leave the link in the description, so, or as a comment, and then you can check it out yourself. But this is pretty much what's going on here, you know, and I'll just quote a precept, right, as the scriptures say, you know, it is high time, I believe that is in Romans, it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. All right, because guess what? All this is going to lead to the destruction of this place and simultaneously the salvation of the elect. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rachak Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.